Hey everyone, Nicole Escobar here, and I'm an author, and so I just kind of want to help other authors. And one way I want to do that is by taking a minute to talk about when we lose a character and how to properly take care of that character and handle that delicate situation in a way that we can help and the reader benefit from it, because we as authors get so attached to our characters. They're our babies. And I've seen a lot of people online be like, oh, I'm going to kill this character, but I'm going to bring him back. And, on occasion, I think that's okay. But I think it becomes a trope is that, oh, they're not dead. But that's doing the reader a disservice, because we're supposed to handle the situation in a way that makes the reader feel something. Because what other point is there? I mean, we're not just, oh, here's sad. But in one of the projects I'm working on, I am writing a funeral scene, and that goes beyond just the death. Because the death, it's quick, it's easy. I mean, I could have easily just skipped ahead. The character's gone now for the rest of the book, but I chose instead to focus on the funeral, because the funeral is a time when people grieve, and especially in the American Western culture, those 2 to 3 weeks surrounding the funeral, especially with a more concentration in the funeral, the actual funeral, is when it is socially appropriate for grief. And people can say, well, it's always appropriate for grief. Like, even if somebody's crying a year from the time that they lost their loved one, that's fine. But as a society, we kind of find that taboo. We like to do the grieving at the funeral, and we like people to kind of just, get on with their life. Pick up all the pieces, and even if the pieces are broken, put them in a bag and keep marching on. So I think as writers, it's important to really focus on that part and the funeral, because not letting the reader grieve and not explaining the loss and how that loss affected every single person in that book, or at least the main character, or that person's family, how people dealt with a loss in that period of socially acceptable grief does the reader a disservice. And in my personal opinion, letting them have a chance to also grieve the character can add a little bit of extra oomph to your book that you may not have thought possible. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be just a page. And just go into the funeral, and maybe there's nothing that happens at the funeral, but still letting your reader see, okay, the church was empty. Nobody liked the guy. That says something about the character, that not enough people came to the funeral. Or the funeral was so well attended that the church was overflowing because this character had such an impact on the entire community. That's something that it would help the reader to be like, oh wow, the loss of this person matters, or the loss of this person, why do we even care? So it's just a little bit that you can push the envelope in terms of writing, is showcasing the grief, showcasing the emotions that the main character has. And sometimes we deal with that. We're like, oh, in the battle scene, oh, we have a flashback of the dead character. But what if we went and we probed right after the death, and we just did a little bit thing? In the funeral directing world, there's a saying that, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but it's that a society is only as civilized as the manner that they bury their dead, or that they take care of their dead. And you can see the way, the humanity, or the amount of civilization and in that society with how they deal with their dead. I mean, what happens to the dead person? I mean, are they just left on the ground? I mean, a lot of people just like to gloss over that, because I get it. It's a hard topic to deal with. But if you as an author can deal with it, I think it would benefit your writing immensely.